And on the day in question, when the scabs were brought in, they were rushed in under police escort in a bus, a coach with meshed up windows. And at no stage were our official pickets allowed to picket. They were not allowed to communicate with their own members. And of course that's what sparked all the trouble off.
I would say there must have been 1,500 to 2,000 riot police. And immediately they piled out of the vans, they immediately went for the pickets, in full riot gear, chased the pickets. Many of them went in homes, nearby homes. But this didn't stop the police. They actually went into the houses. Those who refused to open the doors had their doors broken open. Windows were smashed. The riot police smashed windows to make entrance.
Someone went and shut the door, because the doors were open, shut the door, and I went through to shut the back door. Well, I wasn't quick enough, and there was about 4 or 5 police there. So I says, "You're not getting in here, there's nobody in here." Because them lads what was in was already in, you know. Anyway, I got my head in between the kitchen door and the wall. So I tried to keep it, you know, so they couldn't get in. Anyway, I said, "You're not getting in." And instead of pushing the door to get in, my head was in between. They pulled it towards them. Well, the door hit here, and my head hit the wall. My glasses went, and that's all I remember. I just heard the son say, "Get her a drink of water and phone for the doctor." I didn't remember night after that.
There was a kid coming up who was streaming with blood. He'd been attacked with 4 policemen. When I asked for a first aid kit to stop the bleeding, I was told, "Go and ask your sympathisers across the road." You can see from there, he'd got a gash down the back of his head, he needed at least 8 stitches, and a gash above his eye that needed at least 4. The only way they'd let me treat him was through a window of a transit, and it's nearly impossible. I'd got no first aid kit, no nothing. They'd got first aid kits on board, but they wouldn't let me use it.
Is that the police officer
If
there?
it was perceived as a thing, you can see how defensive they are. Only draw your truncheons in self-defence. That's a baseball bat, not a truncheon. He couldn't even put it in his pocket.
They weren't just
They came into the village with them.
Yeah.
So it was preconceived before they even got in the village. Because there's no way he's drawn that as he's come in the village unless it went down his trouser leg.
That's an unusual sight as well. If you look on his shoulders, he's got numbers. The majority of them, who are not policemen, we believe, have not got numbers. They're supposed to, by law apparently, wear numbers on the uniform so as you can identify them. There's no numbers there. That's right, is it, you know?
Same as my mate, he got arrested that day, Wednesday. And they gave him a bit of an hammering before the permit van. They handcuffed him with his hands behind the back, twisted handcuffs, so they dug into his wrist. They come back half an hour later, about 5 or 6 of them, open van doors and says, "Is anybody seriously hurt?" And him like a silly chuff said no. So they whacked him in the stomach and said, "Yeah, now."
Coal they say is in demand, but the miner they don't want to pay. Yet a miner dies of pneumoconiosis in Britain every single day. They die, that's the price of coal. They die, that's the price of coal. Markham in Corrie, one morning the cage went down like a stone. Women and children were left at home for their loved ones, now they mourn. The dead, that's the price of coal. The dead, that's the price of coal. Lofthouse Corrie, the water burst through on a coal face underground. Miners ran like hell for their lives. 7 of them were never found. The dead, that's the price of coal. the dead, that's the price of coal.
The papers rant and the Tories rave. Well, listen, they are so brave, but they don't go down that stinking hole. Please tell me, who digs the coal? Is it Thatcher or the reporters? Is it I or is it you? Or perhaps it's the Reverend Save Your Soul. Please tell me, who digs the coal?
Women are waiting tonight on the pit bank, pale at the heart with dread, watching the digital wheels that loom in the murky sky, till the wheels begin to revolve and the men who they loved so well, the strong, kind, loving men, are brought up in canvas sheets, to be identified by a watch, or a button, or perhaps only a wish. And the King will send his sympathy, and the Member of Parliament will be there, who voted that the military be used when last his miners came on strike to win a living wage. And the press that has spilled oceans of ink, poisoning the public against the destroyers of industry, will tell the sad tale. And the public will say, how sad. But a week today, all will be forgotten, and the Member of Parliament, the parson, the press, and the public will keep storing up their venom in their hatred for the next big minor strike. Women are waiting tonight at the pit bank, but even God does not see the hypocrisy and the shame of it all.
Now I've seen falls of stones and broken bones and limbs no doctor can repair. And I've got a friend who has to spend the rest of his life in a chair. Now that's the price of coal. Aye, that's the price of coal.
I witnessed a scene in Sheffield police station. There was a lad sitting just a few feet away from me on a bench, and the police were asking him questions, and one of the policemen took his fist and punched him off the seat like that and kicked him repeatedly down there, and were telling him to get up off there from the floor. You know, that's what they were saying to him. Like, the lad couldn't speak because he was that winded and he was crying, and they just picked him up and they tossed him in the corner. Well, I'd never thought I would ever witnessed anything like that, you know. If anybody had said to me last year, oh, you'll be in that sort of situation, I wouldn't have believed it. I didn't think that would have happened. I know police have been heavy-handed at times, but the violence I've witnessed is it's serious. You know, the general people in the public don't really want to accept that that's going on. You know, they paint the police out to be little whitey angels, and they know better than black and tans, because that's what they are. They're just paid thugs that's brought into the likes of this community.
Policemen say they're doing a job, bashing men's head with a club. When it happens in South Africa, our media cry shame. In England they say it's the pickets to blame. Thatcher gives order to her boot boy army, go maim the miners while they starve their families. Policemen and Thatcher, the day will come, you'll have to answer when we have won.
How long can they stand idly by and watch their comrades bleed and die? And every day watch these ugly scenes of their mates getting battered on an English green. It could be a friend or it could be a neighbour whose only crime was withdrawing their labour. These same young men, when down the hole, would be the first to help you dig your coal. So whatever your differences or petty hates, get out on the streets and support your mates.
Now I know a nice young policeman of disposition sweet, and all the children greet him as he patrols his beat. He's kind to dear old ladies who want to cross the street, but he steps on evildoers with his great big plates of meat. Now he'd never bend the evidence or take a bribe, thank you, of course. He's an outright heterosexual and a credit to the foes. He's honest, kind and truthful, fearless, brave and keen, the finest human being that you have ever seen. And He has no racial prejudice, he is totally without sin, protecting Pakistanis from the violence of the schemes. Impartial on the picket line, to the striker he's a friend. He is stainless, faultless, peerless, conscientious to the end. Oh.
I was watching a policeman actually clubbing a picket about something awful. I told him a few choice words that he shouldn't be doing it. Another policeman ran up and told me I was nicked. And I said, I don't give a damn about you and no one else. So he arrested me, took me towards the police line, and as he was going I thought I'd make a little protest, and I put my arm up in a gesture and shouted, "Wayne." And with that he hit me right on the head with a truncheon. And I didn't make no effort to do no harm to him or any other policeman.
Before I came back into the mining industry, I did 3 years in Ireland, and I'm ashamed of what happened out there when I was there. And believe me, it's bloody coming, because I can tell how the police are trained, that they're trained by army. The dogs what they have aren't always police dogs, they're war dogs, and you can tell by the way they're trained. They're not trained to, if they go for anybody, capture, down and guard. They're trained for to rip apart, and we've experienced it all, Graves, where the dogs were let loose and they're war dogs, you know.
And what I seen that day is nothing. You can never call the police in this country, because they were running into the crowd with horses and batons about a yard long and thrashing out at anyone and everything that moved, regardless what you done. If you was only standing still, they would have hit you to the ground. And I was listening on telly, and the commentator was saying the police use their truncheons liberally. Well, if he calls that liberally, he must have made the biggest understatement I've ever heard. And television is really biased towards the miners, and I feel really bitter about it, because they are showing, whenever a miner does a little bit of aggro, it doesn't show the full effect of the police against the miner.
They got me on the floor, spread-eagled me, a copper on each arm, one on each leg, and they started to hit my arms and legs with a truncheon, methodically, until I had no power or grip left in my arms. Then they just proceeded to twist them straight up my back. I think he wanted to take it home for a souvenir. Now, why do police go in with such venom? They seem to enjoy inflicting pain and suffering on the working man. Why? Who tells them to go beat a picket's head? Who tells them to inflict pain, try to kill him? Because that's what they're doing. You stand there in the push, and all you feel all of a sudden, a fella outside, he'll collapse in a pile on the floor. What's up with you? He's just been kneed in the groin. I've seen police do it. I've no skin left on my shins, where they run the boots down your shin. But if you look at him the wrong way, you're nicked. I want to know who gives them the power to do this. Who tells them to beat me, a working man, with a stick? Who is it? I want to know.
But whenever we challenge him, and he asks them on whose authority they are acting, they always say, my chiefs, or in other words, I'm obeying orders. Well, I well remember the Nuremberg trials, when the Nazis were on trial for gassing 6 million Jews, and that was exactly the excuse that they used. We were obeying orders. Now, how far are our police prepared to go in obeying their orders? Well, with what I've seen on the picket lines and what I've seen in our village here, I believe there's many of those police will go all the way.
Get off in, you bastards!
Why is Daddy crying, Ma'am? Has he got a poorly head? Was it done by men in blue when they dragged us out of bed?
You bastard! I've fucking seen that!
No, son. He's shedding tears of pride in the medals he has won. Nay, lad, they're not across his chest. They're out there, every one. Workers cheering in the streets, supporters filling every hall, sending food by lorry load, responding to the call. Every worker's contribution, no matter if it's small, everyone's a medal, lad, responding to the call. Every tin, a hope expressed, that we will see it through. Every single coin, a prayer, that scabs will one day rue. So when the battle's over, when the Tories are no more, the world will still remember 1984.
You know, what people tend to forget, we've had 5 miners killed on picket lines and 1 child trying to get a bit of coal for heat. Bloody wrong. And we're not going to give in, because no way, a hollow victory is no victory. It's going to be a 100% victory.
It is going to be.
And it's going to be for them lads who put their lives on the line and everybody else.
Come gather round, you people, you women and your men. Once more our backs up to the wall, we've been attacked again. Which side are you on? 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 Now Thatcher sent McGregor to smash the NUM, break the workers' unity, and I ask you once again, which side are you on? 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 By bully boys in uniforms and thugs for riot shields, our comrades' blood is being shed, and still they will not yield. Which side are you on? 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 And the Tories rant, tear their hair and shout democracy, but the kind the Tories have in mind is no for you and me. Which side are you on? 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 And the choice is there before us, there's just one thing to do: support the miners' struggle, or the next in line is you. Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on?